Welcome to
Theories
of the third kind.
Welcome to Theories of the Third Kind. My name is Aaron. The other host joining me today is Daniel's son.
Hello. That was very weird. Hello.
I don't know why I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath just saying that. I think it's too much of the... That is one of the symptoms of
lifting
too much weights. Anyway.
Oh, you know what that is?
What?
Weightlifters get the same condition I have. Left ventricular hypertrophy.
My blood's really thick. I got to go get a blood dump.
Oh, you got to do that. Mine is the left side of my heart's chamber is a little bit smaller because the walls are muscles. When you weightlift, your heart builds muscle too.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Well,
that's why my fat ass is out of breath sometimes.
I'm out of breath just talking. This is scary. I'm going to have a heart attack on live TV. On YouTube. Now, before we start today's episode, we do have a couple of announcements to make.
If you would like to support the show, you could do so by joining our premium subscription service, Supercast. For just $6.66 a month, you can enjoy weekly premium audio episodes and our entire back catalog of over 230 plus episodes that are all ad-free.
Or if you want to be a big baller, shot caller, and ride on
20s?
20 what?
2s? 4s? 25s? 26?
20-inch blades.
Oh.
We go over this every week on the
Impaler.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
All right. And you can spend some money. You can pay $9.99 for our premium subscription service and not only get the audio episodes, but also the video premium episodes or the video of the premium episodes. And you can get access to that by just going to our website, theoriesofthethirdkind.com. There's going to be a Supercast button right on the middle of the front page, right there in the middle. You click on it, it'll take you to where you can go sign up.
Now, we know things are tough out there right now, so if you can't afford a premium membership, but you still want to help us out, you can do so by leaving us a written review on iTunes or Spotify.
That helps us out a lot.
However, don't feel pressure to do so. If you don't want to, then that's fine. We just want you guys, girls, aliens, reptilians, Bigfoot, Sasquatches, chupacabras, ghosts, Illuminati members, underground lizard people, whoever or whatever you are, to enjoy the show.
Nice.
Also, remember, our content is entirely human-made. No AI were harmed or used in the process other than making the graphic for this episode.
And not even fully used AI for the graphic. We just did it for the, whatever. We explain it every week. If you don't know, just go back and listen. Okay? That's what we should just, hey, the intro, just go listen to the last week's intro.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So that's the end of the announcements. And today's episode is a Theories Thursday. And if you don't know what a Theories Thursday is, it's pretty much where Dan and I have each selected an individual topic. We haven't told each other about it. We independently researched it, and then we are going to present our topics to one another. The hardest, most difficult thing about our Theories Thursday is determining who goes first. And for that, we call upon the dice.
Damn it. Don't touch me.
Actually, we didn't even say who goes. Do you want odds or evens?
I'll go odds.
Odds? Okay. Ugh. The fuck?
I guess that's 17.
17 or 7. So it's you. That is disgusting. Not doing that ever again. All right. So since Dan won the role, he is going to go first and present his topic. So
Yay.
What do you have for us this week? This episode is sponsored by
Hymns.
Let me tell you something, brother. No man wants to lose his hair. But for men, it's actually very common to lose your hair. I'm not going bald, though. Dan, are you?
No, I just have a big fucking forehead.
And you know what? For some men, when they lose their hair, they lose their confidence.
And it's time to get that confidence back and restore your hair with Hymns.
You can try Hims Hair Loss Solutions and join hundreds of thousands of subscribers. You can get your follicle fountain back. and get those luscious locks just to flowing. You can grow your hair out and get it going down like Hulk Hogan, going from your ears down to your balls. That luscious mane just flowing like a lion.
The process is simple and 100% online, so there are no uncomfortable doctor visits. You could choose from personalized chewables, oral, spray, and serum treatments to find what works best for you.
And no insurance is needed. And one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care.
Start your free online visit today at hims.com/theories.
That's HIMS.com/theories for your personalized hair loss treatment options. HIMS.com/theories.
Results vary. Based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride, prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. All right. So for my topic, I was originally going to talk about a murder or a series of murders, but decided to save that because it actually goes well with one of our episodes that we want to do.
Okay.
So instead, I decided to base this topic off the fact that it is now deer hunting season in Virginia. I don't know about Texas.
He's from Virginia.
Yeah. I mean, technically right now it is muzzleloader season in
What is that? Yeah, you pack it down
black
like
powder.
a fucking musket. Oh,
That's what I actually shot my first deer with.
cool.
Yeah, me and the deer, we just like lined up like in the Revolutionary War. They had their musket, I had my musket. We both loaded and faced each other and
Kind of like the olden days.
yeah, waited for the command to fire.
Did you get it stuffed?
The deer?
I don't fucking know. I don't know how this shit works.
No, I didn't get the deer stuffed.
I don't know.
It was a spike. It wasn't that impressive.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Have you ever hunted with black powder?
Fuck no. I've never even shot one before. I just shot my Glock and a Remington 870 shotgun when I went dove hunting.
And you're missing out. Missing out on the whole prepping up the gun and firing it yourself.
Speaking of that, I actually put bullets inside my gun the other day.
You're welcome.
Yeah. For the longest time, I had my Glock on me and it had no bullets in it. And I was just going to whip somebody across the head with it.
He was going to throw the gun at him.
But I actually have bullets now. Anyway, let's continue with your...
All right. So obviously my topic is about a deer, but then again, not a deer.
Okay. So
Have
like
you-
a cryptid.
It is a cryptid. But have
Okay.
you ever heard of the not deer?
How do you spell it?
Notdeer. Not deer.
No.
Me neither until just recently.
Okay.
Obviously, it's become very popular, but supposedly it got more viral last year.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it, but it's a thing. So I did a little deep dive into it and thought it was very interesting. So a not deer, not a K-N-O-T, but N-O-T, not deer, looks like a deer, but it's not one. And that's how it kind of like lures you in. Say you're out hunting. You see a deer, you're just like, oh, gotta line up the shot. And then the more that you start to look at it, you start noticing things. One, why the fuck are its eyes on the front of its face looking towards you?
Not on the side.
Not on the sides like a prey, but eyes of a predator.
Oh, I didn't even realize that that was a thing until now when you pointed it out.
You didn't know predators have eyes that face forward and prey, their eyes point outwards?
Yeah.
See, Coda's not a predator, he's a prey. His eyes point outwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, you start to look and you see the eyes are facing towards you instead. But then you start to look at it more and you're just like, wow, that deer is really big. So you're thinking, this is like a trophy buck. But then you look at it more. You notice that its legs are super long.
Wendigo.
Some people think this. That's the more modern Wendigo.
Oh, okay.
But then you like see its legs, how long the legs are. Then you realize, wow, that thing has some fucked up joints. Where it bends, they have more joints than it's supposed to.
Hmm.
But then you see the eyes again. And you realize, well, there's a couple more eyes there too.
What?
Yeah, this thing's weird looking.
You have a photo of this?
There are multiple photos of people's sketches of it.
Yeah, I would like to see a sketch
All right,
of
all
it.
right. Oh, you got this one. I'll throw it up right here. How it has multiple eyes. Eyes are kind of more on the front side.
Okay.
Now that's more of a drawing, but I mean, there's really no legit photo, I think, out there.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now you're out there, you're watching this thing, looking down the sights at it, and then it starts to turn towards you, and it starts walking towards you. And you know how the deer have like that smooth, slow motion when they're walking?
Not really. No.
No.
But okay.
Okay. It's walking towards you, but then you realize it's kind of like a jerky motion when it's walking. Like it's not
You do that very well.
the whole jerky motion.
Jerky
I don't know
motion.
how I like
I was
that
thinking of something else, but
Lots of practice.
okay. So it's
But-
jerking as it's what jerky motion.
Jerky
As
motion as it's not used to walking like that.
Okay. So like a baby calf.
Yeah, actually, just like that.
Okay.
And then it starts coming towards you, and you're realizing this thing's not afraid of me, not like a normal deer.
Okay. So deers are skittish. I have zero experience deer hunting. Well, I take that back. I once went deer hunting with my father back in like November of 2010 in Maine. We didn't shoot anything. We just sat in the stand, and I'm like, wow, so exhilarating.
I mean, there's different types of ways to hunt deer. That's still hunting. That
I'd be
can-
calling them in with some.
I mean, yeah, the little antler things, the calls.
I'd pour pee all over me. And then I'd find one and shoot it. And then I'd skin it like Tom Green and wear it around. Never mind.
I guess you could do the pee.
Sorry, I keep getting off track. Let's continue.
No, because that's actually perfect. The deer
Okay.
call that you just did.
Uh-huh.
That's the normal kind of deer call. But this doesn't make that noise. It does a clicking noise off like that one girl off that movie, the scary movie.
Oh,
Does the tongue-
Hereditary.
Yeah, it does the tongue clicking,
Yeah.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The not deer makes that type of noise.
So kind of like the Predator. Is the Predator? Okay, yeah. All right.
So it does that, and then you start to get this feeling of dread coming over you as it's coming towards you. Your flight or fight response kicks in. I mean, you're there sitting there with your gun, but then this feeling of dread comes over you. Instead of fight, you want to get the fuck away from it.
Ooh.
So you pretty much run away.
Okay.
And that's pretty much what a lot of hunters have done. I haven't read any story. If you find a story out there that a hunter did shoot one, send it my way. I haven't seen one.
When was it first encountered? Like the very first encounter?
The origins of this thing, no one's really know. Like some people say, from what I read, is that they believe it's, from the Navajo, that it's a possible skinwalker.
Okay.
Because this thing, it does like to go up on its back legs and be bipedal. And that's when people realize, like, holy shit, this is definitely not a deer now.
Mm-hmm.
So some people think it's a skinwalker. Some people don't think. Some people think it might be a Wendigo, the modern day version of it. But, I mean, we did an episode on both of those, and the way this thing is described, definitely not either of those.
No. Multiple eyes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Now, where you would find this thing is more along the Appalachian Mountains, which that range is pretty much almost all the way up the East Coast, 1,500 miles. Goes from Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, Maryland, West Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and in New York.
God damn.
Which I honestly didn't realize it went through all those states.
Neither did I.
And I have gone to the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia, in like Roanoke and such, and I have walked in the woods and everything. Luckily, I didn't hear any noises or anything.
Did you see Ray up there?
No.
If you know what I'm talking about, you'll know what, you'll know. Anyway, sorry.
No, I mean, when I went there with my buddy to go visit his family there, his cousin wanted to take us hunting. And I'm all for going hunting,
Mm-hmm.
but he wanted to go at night,
Spotlighting?
spotlighting. And I'm like,
okay.
nah, not into that really.
Do they kill boars up there? I know here in Texas, I mean, you can kill boars all the
I
time.
don't think I have not seen any boars in Virginia. I don't think we have them. I think we have to go to South Carolina, the closest, I think, for us to actually find some.
Okay.
And we don't do the whole helicopter shooting.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
End up like Kobe Bryant.
Ooh, rip. But yeah, pretty much the Appalachian Mountains is where they're usually spotted at, and that's where a lot of stories come from, is the Appalachian Mountains. And I did try to find like the very first origin story of it. You can't really find anything because it's more so of word of mouth of it being passed down. But as I looked into it, like I said earlier, this thing, the not deer, has become very viral. More, if you go on TikTok now or Instagram, you look up hashtag not deer, there's over like 100 million views and stuff like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was shocked at it, and I recently saw a video on it, and I'm just like, why have I never heard of this?
Mm-hmm.
I hunted deer pretty much most of my life, and I've never heard of a not deer. So I went and I tried to find some stories on it to see what people encountered. I didn't know that there was like a subreddit for it.
Whoa.
There's the subreddit, the Appalachia. They have stories on there. Like, there's tons of stories out there of people encountering a not deer. And it's just so weird to say a not deer. Because it looks like a deer, but it's not a deer. So they call it a not deer. And I think they actually, what's the word? The doer? D-O-E-R? Or is
Doer?
It might actually be D-E-O-R. Deor. Which it supposedly means like beast or quadruped or something like that.
An anthropologist needs to, no, I don't know.
Yeah, no, like that's like another name for it other than not deer, is like Dior.
Okay. That's so Dior.
Yeah, that's a brand, isn't it? Oh, D-I-O-R.
So Dior.
So
Dior. What's that TikTok saying? That's so
demure.
That's so demure.
Look, so cutesy, so demure. Or very demure.
Very demure.
But yeah, I found a couple stories. The first story that I did find was from a person named R back in 2013. They start saying, I was staying at my grandparents' house, which is in the mountains over a little lake. I didn't like the woods there because they creeped me out, but I couldn't tell why. My grandpa agreed that they were weird and said he'd seen weird things, but he wouldn't tell me about it. Well, one night, it was a full moon. They were in bed and I was up reading. I looked out the window and on the lawn between the house and the lake was a deer. But it was like not a deer. It was standing on its hind legs and it was dancing. It was dancing. Like jumping from leg to leg to leg, jerking its front legs around in the air and twitching its head. It had horns, so it was a buck. I watched it for a long time, maybe 20 minutes, and it seemed like it was looking up at the house, and it never stopped.
Okay.
That was the first story.
A deer with prion disease.
A lot of people believe it's kind of like theory, chronic wasting disease. So like mad cow disease.
Which is prion disease. It's proteins in the brain. Actually, not proteins. It's prions. They get into your brain and they multiply, and you can't kill them.
No,
you can't cure it. You can't kill them.
It's fatal. Once you got it, it's done.
Yeah, and if humans get it, there's nothing you could do. Within years, you die.
Can you get it?
You can get it. You can get it from eating the brain or anything that has like bone fragments from the spine, stuff like that.
So like what is it?
It's kind of like, I want to say
back strip.
It has to have like, if you do the back strip and you hit
cut
like
the bone,
a little bit of the bone, even just like the little bit of it, you can get it that way.
Yeah.
Or bone marrow. Yeah.
That's
a lot, Caesar Buffet.
That's what got us.
Yeah.
We have it.
I've been sleeping we mentioned that last time. Sleeping like a motherfucker, but I've been growing. Daddy, I'm growing.
All right. So that was that story. The next story I found is actually a screenshot of a post from 4chan. This one's not bad.
Much respect.
It goes on to say, I was hunting with my grandfather for my 19th birthday about a year ago, and we both watched a deer slam its head into a rock until its antlers and skull were shattered. Once its brains were everywhere, it tried to lick them up and looked like it couldn't even use its jaw or tongue right, so it just stood upright like a fucking human and just walked into the river and died. We left immediately, and my granddad was terrified. I haven't been near the woods since, and he moved to Florida with my grandmother for safety reasons.
Horrible place to move.
Yeah, horrible place. They get hit by so many storms, hurricanes and stuff.
You know what I don't understand? Why doesn't everyone have a kayak there? They're you can get one for about $150 or $100 from Walmart, brand new. And let's just say if you're in an emergency, you try to ride out that hurricane. You're just like, screw it. I'm going to pack a few things on the kayak, get on the kayak, and just paddle my way out.
I mean, if there's a hurricane going on, kayak's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, that's true. I almost died on like hurricane-like weather in a kayak. Remember that in Mississippi?
Oh.
Yeah. I almost died.
See,
maybe I did.
Maybe we already all died. This is the afterlife.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would...
We are punished to do podcasts every single day.
We still have to work our asses off. Damn it.
Sorry for sidetracking.
No, I liked it. All right. So I got one more story. This one's a little bit longer. All right. So this last story that I have right now is from Liz in 2021. She goes on to say, every now and then people in my town see these things that look like deer, but they aren't deer. And they scared the hell out of us. The one we saw was the wrong color. It was too dark brown and shaggy for the time of year. It looks like a deer, but it never stands close enough to the rest of the herd, and they don't act right or move right. The second time I saw one, literally the thing comes out of the woods 2 yards from us, way too close. That's the thing with, not deer. They're too close, and it didn't move right. My brother and I just froze because your brain is trying to figure it out. It's hard to explain, but you feel like you're holding your breath when you see one. My brother, who was super quietly, whispering to me, says, "What's wrong with that buck? Do you see it? Its antlers nubs were straight up and forward. It's too dark, skinny, and just super shaggy."
Hold on, straight up and forward, like antennas, kind of?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, supposedly their antlers grow differently, too.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to get one mounted.
That would be pretty interesting in here.
Yeah. Like you said, we need to remove these back panels and put more decorations up.
Yeah. Dude, just think of having like a not deer head mounted. All those eyes just looking down and...
Actually, I'm going to remove mine and I'm going to start putting the letters up on the walls like I said I would.
Oh, we could do that.
Everybody who writes in.
I got that corkboard stuff. Find a way to get that on the wall. You can start pinning letters and stuff.
Yep.
We do have a shit ton of letters.
Yeah. We got to do another mail time episode. We've got so many MAIL time, not MALE.
I like my MALE time. Anyways. Yeah, so the brother goes on to say, it's staring at us and its eyes aren't right. They were too forward, kind of. And they were all black, not like normal, darker, eyes. And it was just way too big. The one we saw a few weeks ago was weird. It was just standing in the middle of the road at the top of the hill, and it was still dusk. And as we got closer, it was just weird looking. The neck was kind of too long, and it was looking at us. We could see the eyes glowing from the headlights, but they went too green and too close together. It slid into the trees, and I sped by it, but we both looked in the rear view, and it slid back into the middle of the road and was watching us drive away. It didn't jump into the grass. It slid. Not walked, not jumped. It slid like it was on a track. That's how they move. Dude, that's weird.
That is weird. Almost like floating, kind of.
Yeah.
When you slide. Yeah.
Like Edward,
Yeah.
Edward Cullen when he walks.
I do that every time I run into the kitchen on the tile floor with socks on. I just slide.
Oh.
Like risky business.
But Liz goes on to say, you can't look away from their eyes, and that's how you know it's not a deer. That, and you can't talk about it when it's happening. It's like this weird forced silence where you just hold your breath until it's gone. So I guess it's that feeling of dread and that flight or fight response to where...
Fight or flight?
Yeah, fight or flight.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's their story. Dude, honestly, I must have skipped over that sliding part.
If you have a gun, wouldn't you shoot it?
You would say that, but when in that moment, it's that when you get that fight or flight response, it's having to debate in your mind on what you're going to do.
I used to say if somebody was to rob me at gunpoint, I would beat their ass. I was like 15, 16 when I would say that. But when I was 16, I did have somebody come and stick a gun to my head, and I gave him all the money. Shit, I told him, I was working at a grocery store. To back your fucking truck up, I would have thrown everything in there for you.
When the cops pulled me over for the so-called drive-by the lady reported me for.
Did drive-bys.
Yeah. The cop pulled me over. I pulled over and everything.
Didn't they pull a gun out on you?
Yeah, I had my license out and everything. Thought it was just a normal traffic stop. Cop comes up to the window. I turned and boom, gun barrel in my face. Literally, I just froze.
That's so dangerous.
Yeah, and it's just like then they start, making demands. And
it's usually not just one. It's like multiple of them telling you different demands.
Yeah.
Get on the ground, roll over, put your arms behind your back, get on the ground. And it's like multiple. You're like, oh.
Get out slowly. Don't move.
Yeah. That's why when I get pulled over, I take my keys and I drop them right outside the window. I stick my hands up on the dash and I'm like, I'm not moving.
I had my license in my hand and I had both my hands on top of the steering wheel where my license could be seen.
Yeah.
And at the time I didn't own a gun because I was thinking like 19 still. And they pulled that out. I mean, they had me stand out in the middle of the damn road with my hands on my head the whole time while they searched my car.
All because of a Karen.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean,
wrong neighborhood, wasn't a fancy enough car.
Being an African American, I feel your pain.
I know. Anyways, so some of the theories on this, obviously.
Okay. Wendigo, skinwalker
or Wendigo, the chronic wasting disease.
Yep.
Which that 4chan post sounds like the chronic wasting disease where they like slam their head and do all that weird shit. Then there's the mutated deer theory where it's just a mutated deer. But there is a viral video out there of a deer that was recorded as like a 20-second video of a deer eating a snake.
Do deers eat snakes?
I had to search this up. They are obviously herbivores. They have the flat teeth and all that. But at times when they are in dire need of nutrients, they will eat meat. There's been studies done that they've actually caught deer eating human corpses.
Oh.
Eating birds that are like dead birds. And this one was caught on the side of the road, literally eating a snake. Like it's standing there, just munching. This snake's just slowly going in and it's staring at you while it's eating it. Hang on. Do I have that video?
We probably can't show it because of the YouTube.
I'll post a link for it.
Yeah, Dan will post a link of it on our website, theoriesofthethirdkind.com, and click on today's episode. And you can see the video right there. Yep, that's...
It's just staring you down, eating.
What type of snake is that?
Looks like a copperhead.
It's just munching on it like it's just chewing away. That makes sense. If it did get the chronic wasting disease, or if it had it, because that's how you get it, is from eating, an infected corpse or infected meat. There's a book called Deadly Feasts that I read, and it talks about the discovery of the prions and these scientists going to Papua New Guinea, I think. You have to fact check me on this. I haven't read the book in a long time. It was the 1960s, and they go to this village, and they notice that the women and children of the village were passing away at way higher rates than the males. And the males were still in that hunter-gatherer type of society. The males would go out and shoot the boars or whatever, bring it back, and they would eat the meat of that animal. The women and children would eat the meat of the loved ones that have passed away. Yeah. And
I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. So the children and the women would get this chronic wasting disease, and they would die within a year or two. And that's how it was discovered, chronic wasting disease. And let me think. There was something else. Whenever your loved one passed away in that village, they would cut off the genitalia and you would keep it, like the vagina or penis, and you would keep it. A family member as well. Just a little fun fact to pull out during Thanksgiving dinner.
I think it's like they hang it in the house, like, those baby cribs that have little things.
Do.
Is that what they do?
They hang it up on the side of the house, like on the inside, but on like the wall, but up higher.
This was your Uncle Bobby here.
Because when they went to the village, the scientists, they went into one of the rooms and of the homes. I say room, it's like a hut.
Yeah.
And up at the top, they had the heads of the loved ones and their like vaginas and penises up there as well.
Oh, so they have the heads too.
Yeah. Deadly Feasts. It's a great book, and it's all factual. It's how they discovered it.
Damn. Well, I only have one last thing for the not deer.
Okay.
Remember the trading card game MetaZoo?
Mm-hmm. I actually looked that up yesterday. They have.
They actually have a not deer card.
So there's a trading card game called
MetaZoo.
And they have like cryptids. And Dan just showed me a not deer one.
Yeah. It says the Appalachia, USA. I mean, it's a very interesting card looking thing, but
I got a lot of the first editions of those.
I have down in my binder with some of my Dragon Ball cards. I have in the back of it the MetaZoo cards. Have like the Bigfoot and all that in there.
They didn't quite take off like I thought they would.
No, they didn't,
Mm.
which is very odd. I thought it definitely would.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you for your Theories Thursday topic of not deer.
Not deer.
I enjoyed it. I've never heard of that before.
Now, if anybody has gone hunting near the Appalachian Mountains, because I know there's lots of stories from like South Carolina, North Carolina, and all that, where people have encountered it. If you've got an encounter with one, or you shot one, let us know. I want to hear it, because I'm actually interested in these stories. Because a lot of them, you just think hunters or people like going bird watching or something out in the woods, and then all of a sudden, like you stumble upon a deer by itself, and it's
all freaky looking.
Yeah,
I would run.
I would, and even if I had a gun, I probably would, because if it's not normal, obviously, probably shooting it's not going to be a normal outcome either.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. Well, just like Dan said, if you or a loved one have experienced a not deer, comment down below or send us an email. We would love to hear from you.
Not deer.
All right. So are you ready for my Theories Thursday topic?
I am, because you have a name here.
I have a name. What is the name?
Oliver.
That's right. My Theories Thursday topic is Oliver the chimpanzee. This episode is sponsored by
Hims.
Let me tell you something, brother. No man wants to lose his hair. But for men, it's actually very common to lose your hair. I'm not going bald, though. Dan, are you?
No, I just have a big fucking forehead.
And you know what? For some men, when they lose their hair, they lose their confidence.
And it's time to get that confidence back and restore your hair with Hims.
You can try Hims Hair Loss Solutions and join hundreds of thousands of subscribers. You can get your follicle fountain back and get those luscious locks just a flowing. You can grow your hair out and get it going down like Hulk Hogan, going from your ears down to your balls. That luscious mane just flowing like a lion.
The process is simple and 100% online, so there are no uncomfortable doctor visits. You could choose from personalized chewables, oral, spray, and serum treatments to find what works best for you.
And no insurance is needed. And one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care.
Start your free online visit today at hims.com/theories.
That's HIMS.com/theories for your personalized hair loss treatment options. HIMS.com/theories.
Results vary. Based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride, prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Is this the one that...
This is the one, and I know what you're thinking. So many years ago, how many years ago is this? 2 years ago? About 2 years ago?
About 2 years ago.
Year and a half ago, maybe? I would say year and a half.
Year and a half to two, somewhere in there.
Dan and I was sitting down, and we were discussing potential topics for the show.
That's how we come up with the topics for the week. We sit there and we spitball.
There was one topic that I had stumbled upon about a chimpanzee that walked upright and looked like a human. We kind of brushed it off due to some events that occurred, but I decided to circle back to it because as I was searching for a topic this week, I came across a news article. A news article from July 2nd of 1976 with the subject line of Oliver has them all in a twist. And it shows Oliver the Humanzee, is what they call it, the Humanzee, the chimpanzee, standing up. And I'll post that news article right here. We're going to read it, and then I'm going to go into the backstory of how he was discovered and his whole life and all that stuff. It's very odd. All right, so this news article states, Oliver has everyone puzzled. He's 4 feet 6 inches tall with a slightly small head. His body is covered with long hair. He can stand upright without much trouble. He has certain facial features which are quite close to being human, and he likes people. Oliver could be the missing link, a being where the animal and human worlds meet. His ability to stand upright without resting on his front limbs on the ground makes him practically unique among primates, because primates walk on their fists.
Oh, yeah.
And he just stands upright and walks like a human. He emits a pungent body odor and tends to warble quietly to himself, occasionally breaking into a high-pitched scream.
What's a warble?
Kind of like the tism a little bit. Yeah.
I do that.
He is docile and sometimes moody. He shows a liking for human company. He does cause other animals to display excessive aggression towards him. He eats fruit and vegetables and enjoys 8 hours of sleep each night. He is thought to have been born in the Congo, where the local legends talk about hairy men. Then it talks about how he was obtained and the scientists carrying out tests on him and all this stuff. And then it states, is he just a mutation or just a plain common primate? So that was the news article. And that got me curious. What was his backstory? What was his life? Is he still alive? What tests were done? And I found all that stuff out. And that's what we're going to get into.
Is he still alive?
No.
Oh.
He died right up the road, though.
Really?
Yeah. All right. So it all started in the late 1960s. There was a couple named Frank and Janet Berger. Now, Frank and Janet, they held like this animal traveling circus display. It wasn't really like a circus, but it was like a show where you would go to it and they would say, hey, look at our chimpanzees. They can do these tricks and stuff. And they traveled around and did that.
Okay.
Yeah. And around the late 1960s, the couple, Frank and Janet, were contacted by an individual who told them that they had a very interesting animal for sale. The animal was a 2-year-old chimpanzee that was captured in the Congo. The couple initially were not interested because they had a bunch of chimpanzees already and they were already trained. So they're like, no, we're good. The individual was like, this chimpanzee is different. You want to see him. They were like, no. How can he be different? It's a chimpanzee. The seller told them this was no ordinary chimp. It walked upright and was possibly a human-chimp hybrid. Frank and Janet went and saw the chimp, and after seeing him, they decided to purchase him so that they could train him to be a part of their traveling animal stage act. They gave the chimp the name Oliver, and he was immediately placed in the training routine with the other chimps because they had like a routine where they would train the chimps daily when they weren't on stage.
Okay.
However, over the next few years, Oliver was never accepted by the other chimpanzees, could not be trained to perform with them in their stage act, and was pretty much an outcast from the group. He preferred to walk upright, sit cross-legged on a chair, and help Janet with the chores around the house. Yeah.
When you say chores, what type of chores? Like folding clothes, taking trash out?
Yeah. It's like normal chores. Dishes, stuff like that. Which I don't know why you would want a chimpanzee doing your dishes.
Not think about it. I wouldn't.
So as the years progressed, Oliver became more so like a part of the family. But he also hit puberty. And he started to fancy Janet.
Oh.
And it was at this time in the mid-1970s when Oliver was around 16 years old that they decided to sell him. So in the fall of 1975, a New York attorney named Michael Miller purchased Oliver for $8,000.
In what year?
1975. In the fall of 1975. $8,000.
That's a pretty decent amount of money.
Yep. So that spring of 1976, Michael Miller decided to take Oliver to the Explorers Club banquet. Hold on. This is crazy. So the Explorers Club banquet is a prestigious event hosted by the Explorers Club. It's an international society dedicated to promoting scientific exploration and field study. It was established in 1904, and it's pretty much where scientists around the world all gather up to talk. And I mean, it's a fuck ton of people that show up there. He brings this primate to that banquet, and I have a video of it, of him arriving at this banquet. We're going to play it, and if we get copyright struck or striked, whatever, we're just going to fast forward through this section. I'll take it out, and you can go to our website, Theories of the Third Kind, and watch it there. But I'm going to pull it up right here. It's so funny.
Please tell me it's like the chimpanzee Oliver's wearing like a tux, too.
In 1976, Oliver was bought for $8,000 by a U.S. attorney who showed him off to the world's press at a gala dinner in New York.
Oh, I'm about to pass out.
That was such a power stance, Oliver. Such a power
He
stance.
just stood there. He purposely stuck his dick and balls out like, what do you think of that? In front of all those people.
All those people. I figured they would at least put clothes on him if he's going to walk upright like that and go to a party. But no. And that's kind of sad. Like, he had like a collar and leash on.
Yeah.
Like,
But he showed everybody his dick and balls.
Dude. Arms back like this, chest pumped out, and ball and peens.
Yeah.
Or peens and ball. Peen and balls. There you go. Balls and peens.
So after that banquet, or which by the way, at that banquet, a lot of the scientists were like, oh my God. And they studied them, and they didn't do any like real scientific studies where they drew DNA samples and all that shit. It was just kind of like them looking at them and stuff like that. And there was one of the scientists there wrote a book about it in 1983. So a few years later. And he mentioned in the book that Oliver didn't smell. He had no body odor. So I don't know. The newspaper article stated he did, but whatever. So after that banquet, multiple news articles were published about Oliver, including the one that I read at the start. Fast forward later that year, Japan reaches out to Michael Miller and says, hey, we want you to bring your chimpanzee Oliver over here, and you can do a tour and show him off, and we can also do medical exams on him. And Michael was like, okay. So he took him over to Japan, and for the next 3 weeks, Oliver toured Japan and was shown off. And like I said, he was given several medical exams during this period, including a blood test. After the tour was concluded, Miller, who was the guy who owned Oliver, the attorney, he stated that the blood tests that were conducted on Oliver showed that he had 47 chromosomes. 47 chromosomes. So do you know how many chromosomes the human has? 46. A normal chimpanzee has 48. So a human has 46. Chimpanzees have 48. Humans with Down syndrome have 47. Michael Miller stated that Oliver had 47 chromosomes. So it was at this point that people, which were the news articles and scientists, started to speculate that he was a chimp with Down syndrome. But that didn't make sense because chimps have 48 chromosomes. And if he did have Down syndrome, he would have 49. But he had 47.
Yeah, you figure human 46, human with Down syndrome 47 would be going up.
Yeah. But here's the thing. him saying that, the medical tests and all that, none of that info was released. It was just word of mouth from Michael. It was not like, hey, here's scientific data. So as the Down syndrome rumor started to spread, I'm not laughing because of that, another one started to spread that Oliver was a mutant, like a half human, half chimpanzee. And then there was another rumor that he was actually a new subspecies of undiscovered chimpanzees. So you have all these rumors circulating in the media, and everyone's just writing articles about him. So after a few months of returning from Japan, when all this news media was writing about him, Michael Miller ended up selling Oliver to an individual named Ralph Helfer. Ralph owned a theme park in California named Enchanted Village, and he decided to put Oliver up on display at this theme park as a way to get people to come and visit it. However, it didn't work out that well because later that year, the park closed down, but Ralph opened up another one and continued to have Oliver as an exhibit that people could come see. And he would be displayed there until 1982, when the theme park finally closed down. Oliver was transferred to a wild animal training center in California, which was owned by an individual named Ken DeCrew. 3 years later, in 1985, Ken sold Oliver to an animal trainer named Bill Rivers. 4 years after that, in 1989, Oliver was sold again. Except this time, he was sold to the Buckshire Corporation.
Said Buckshire Corporation?
Yep.
What are they?
This corporation was a Pennsylvania laboratory, like testing center that leased out animals for scientific and cosmetic testing. So like Head and Shoulders or
lipstick, moisturizer, stuff like that.
Stuff like that. They would test it on animals. For the next 7 years, Oliver was kept in a 7-foot by 5-foot cage. But the lab stated that they never used him for any cosmetic testing. They just kept him there just in case, which I don't know how true that is, but we just got to take their word for it.
Yeah.
Finally, in 1996, Oliver's confinement at the testing facility came to an end, and he was transferred to an animal sanctuary called Primarily Primates in San Antonio, Texas. While at this sanctuary, he returned to good health and even gained a female chimpanzee companion named Raisin. Now, during this time, the sanctuary's director decided to solve the mystery as to why Oliver looked and acted so weird compared to other chimpanzees. The director asked a geneticist at the Chicago University to examine Oliver's chromosomes, just like how they did in Japan, because the director was like, Michael says there's 47, but he provided no paperwork. I want the actual paperwork that shows he has 47. So they did the study, and it revealed that Oliver had 48 chromosomes, which is the normal amount for a chimpanzee. After the study was concluded, the director was like, well, fuck, why does he look so weird? He has the normal chromosome count. Why does he look different? So we got a DNA analysis expert to do an additional study. So the results were published in 1998 and stated that Oliver's mitochondrial DNA closely matched that of central chimpanzee subspecies, which lived in the Republic of Congo. So it stated that, hey,
that's where they found him, right? Congo.
Yeah, Congo. He's just a normal chimpanzee from the Congo. And following that, Oliver pretty much faded from the news headlines and spent the almost next 20 years at this animal sanctuary in San Antonio. Then on June 2nd, 2012, he ended up passing away in his sleep. They cremated him and then spread his ashes in the sanctuary.
Okay.
Figured it would be in the Congo, but who's going to fly there with some ashes? And
honestly, when you say cremated, at first I thought you meant he was like stuffed. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm just like, nope, cremated is a different thing. Yeah.
So what makes this entire thing kind of weird is that he walked upright and he looked different. But they figured out why he looked different. Following his death, additional information about Oliver came to light. Something worth mentioning is that over the years, newspaper articles and others claimed that Oliver looked different, that he had no teeth and he walked upright, which was true. He had no teeth, walked upright. He looked different. His face was like squished down like this, and his jaw looked all different. Now, what was not mentioned is that in 1976, he was examined by a primate specialist. This was never mentioned, but it was uncovered after he passed away. This primate specialist stated that Oliver's jawline and facial structure was different because all of his teeth was missing. Somebody had pulled them all out. Now, due to his teeth being pulled out, it shortened his upper jaw bones and his lower jaw bones and caused it to kind of like go down. You know, when people who have no teeth and they have dentures and they take the dentures out and it kind of, that's exactly what happened to him.
My mom last year finally had all of her teeth pulled. And I honestly didn't notice this until she got it done, how different the face looks when there's no teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you can close your mouth even more and it's like, I can't do the face. But, I mean, we know the face, like,
yeah,
it changes your facial structure. And it's like, it's really odd to see.
Yeah. So this primate specialist in 76 stated that somebody had pulled all of Oliver's teeth and that he was walking upright due to him being conditioned that way. Somebody had forced him to walk upright and was like, hey, you have to walk this way. So he didn't do it naturally. He was forced to walk upright. Also, his head shape, ear shape, freckles, and baldness were nothing more than individual variations that fell well within the range of a common chimpanzee. So that meant before 1976, or in 1976, well, probably before, someone had trained him to walk upright, pulled all of his teeth to make him have a weird appearance, and made all these claims about him that he was half chimp, half human, and covered up the study that was done on him in 1976.
Honestly, in my head, I'm thinking, what would make a chimpanzee not walk on all fours or, use its knuckles to walk? Maybe something happened to its back to where someone like...
Well, the primate specialist said in 76 that he walked upright because he was conditioned that way. Somebody had taken him for majority of his life from birth to 1976 and taught him to walk upright, like conditioned him that way. That's why he walked that way.
Now, I'm going to show you an image I just found of Oliver.
Okay.
And this one's from 1990.
Mm-hmm.
It scares the shit out of me.
It's probably the mean mugging one. Yeah.
That thing, not Oliver, like just in general, that is a mean looking chimp right there.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would be too if someone conditioned me to walk upright when that's not like my natural state, pulled all my teeth out.
Now, there's two people, or actually three people that could have done this. Frank and Janet Berger, as a way to, have him become more of a
star attraction.
Yeah, for their animal training thing. Or the individual who got him from the Congo made him that way and then said, hey, look at these animal people. We're going to sell him to them.
I would think it'd be them.
And then Frank and Janet ran with it, this whole thing of like, hey, he's a freak of nature, to sell him. And then Michael Miller got him, takes him to this banquet, shows him off, and then sells him not shortly after that. And then he just keeps getting sold more and more and more until he goes to this sanctuary. And it's all just hype up from initial lies.
I knew they sooner to get him in a tux.
So, that is Oliver, the supposed half human, half chimpanzee, which he was just a normal chimpanzee. And the rumors of him being half human were just because of the conditioning that he was placed upon. That was placed upon him. So, yeah. And I have a funny picture I want to show you. But before I do, I was in the truck talking to my son today, and he's older. He's like 17. And I was telling him the story about Oliver. And then I showed him the picture of him, and he said, you know who he looks like? He said, who? He goes, he looks like Danny DeVito. So
I mean, there is a resemblance. I mean, in that photo there, because Oliver's face is more round, it works with that.
yeah, so he looks like Danny DeVito. It's true.
It's true.
Yeah. So there you go. That is the Theories Thursday topic that I had this week of Oliver, and I hope you enjoyed it.
I did, because we talked about it, but I didn't know other than what you told me about it, and I never looked it up because, I mean, that wasn't the topic for the week.
It's really weird. So if you or a loved one have a half human, half chimpanzee at your house, comment down below on our YouTube comments or whatever, or send us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
But that is the end of my Theories Thursday topic. But before we roll it out, I have something I want to talk about. A Mandela effect.
Another one.
A new one.
Is it about a Pokemon?
No. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Don't look it up. The capital of Australia.
Oh, what a... Hang on.
What letter does it start with?
It's not Sydney.
I thought it was Sydney.
I know Sydney's like one of the big cities there, but it wasn't Sydney. It's,
See, now I feel like a dumbass because I thought it was Sydney this entire time.
No, it's just like that's where that famous building is. That
The triangle looking like elongated rectangle triangle thing.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, most people would think that Sydney is the capital of Australia or like the main place, but
So the capital of Australia is Canberra. Not Sydney, which everybody can call me a dumbass in the comments. I thought it was Sydney.
I didn't know it was Canberra.
Canberra.
I thought it was something else.
Which
Something else entirely.
The origins of the word derives itself from, what does it derive itself from?
Cranberries?
No. Woman's cleavage. Boobs. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm going to move there.
Okay. All right. So that's my Theories Thursday topic and the little bonus Mandela effect.
All right, let me add one to you. Your favorite Pokemon is Gengar, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
What are the evolutions of Gengar? Starting at the very beginning.
Ghostly? Or Ghastly? Ghastly, Haunter, Gengar.
All right, how do you spell Ghastly?
G-A-S-T... G-A-S-T something? L-E-Y? I don't know.
Okay, so you got the first part right. I thought it was G-H-A-S-T-L, like why?
No,
I had someone message me and they're just like, hey, I got a Mandela effect for you. I'm like, all right. You know the Pokemon Ghastly? Yeah, I was like, did you know that it was spelled G-A-S-T-L? I'm like, no, it's G-H-A-S-T-L-Y or whatever.
We're from different timelines.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Onyx.
Oh, yeah, Onyx. That's a weird one.
That's a very weird one. I thought it was always with a Y, wasn't it? Because now it's an I, right?
I don't know. I thought it was with a Y.
It's with an I.
It's
See
weird.
that?
I'm used to O-N-Y-X.
Yeah, I mean, that's the rock, the Onyx, but
Mhm.
the Pokemon's with the I-X. And I always thought it was a Y-X. And then Ghastly, I thought it was a G-H because Ghost.
That makes sense.
And then Haunter, Haunter is spelled right.
Hmm.
But Ghastly is G-A-S. So I was like, oh,
Hmm.
did not know that.
Well, if you or a loved one have a Mandela effect you would like to share, send us an email or comment down below. We always love hearing new ones.
We do. I love hearing new ones because it's like, oh, shit. Like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else you want to add to today's episode?
Not really.
All right. Well, if you cannot get enough of us, you can sign up for our premium. And on our premium episode today, we do another Theories Thursday where we discuss multiple weird topics, portals to other dimensions, and
wild animals.
Wild animals. So if you'd like to listen to that, check out our premium episode. No pressure. But with that being said, I want to thank you for joining us today. And again, thank you for all your support and love. Without you, we could not do this.
That's right.
So with that being said, Dan, would you like to roll us out?
Sure will. It's okay to be out of this world with your thoughts.
because you are not alone.